New details regarding John Wick 5. After the announcement at CinemaCon 2025, we now have some initial information about the plot. Director Chad Stahelski spoke about the new installment of the action series in an interview with the entertainment magazine Empire, including some cryptic remarks. Besides the return of Stahelski, one aspect in particular is already clear. Keanu Reeves is also coming back. Now, this was uncertain for a long time. After all, the actor did say a while back that his iconic character had died in the fourth John Wick film. Stahelski, too, admits that the saga surrounding John Wick was supposed to have ended with Chapter 4. Part 5 is therefore set to tell a new story. Quote, "It's not a continuation with the high table. John dealt with his grief. It will be really different." Now, the director is not disclosing any details about how the movie will be different. However, Stahelski is already looking forward to the fan reactions as soon as the first trailer gets released. By then, fans will hopefully have an idea of what the new story means for John Wick. John Wick 5 is far from being the only project in the franchise that awaits us in the coming years. A spin-off film about Donnie Yen's character Kane has been announced as well. Moreover, the Continental series will be followed by Under the High Table, another series from the John Wick universe. An animated film about the action hero's backstory is also in the pipeline. The prequel and the series will lay the foundation of John Wick 5, according to Stahelski. Quote, "Our idea is to try some things and explore some threads and use those two properties to catapult us forward into the ideas for John Wick 5. Next up, however, is From the World of John Wick, Ballerina, which will also feature Keanu Reeves. The spin-off film starring Ana de Armas will be released in theaters on June 6, 2025. Deadpool and Wolverine is the most successful R-rated film of all time with $1.38 billion in box office takings. Naturally, expectations for the next Deadpool movie are high. Now, insider sources from the renowned industry magazine The Hollywood Reporter are claiming that Ryan Reynolds is planning a joint film with the X-Men. To be more precise, it will not be a classic Deadpool solo story, but an ensemble film. Deadpool does appear in the movie, but it's not the focus. Instead, other X-Men characters who have so far been kept on the sidelines are to be given more screen time. Reynolds hopes that this will allow new characters to make surprising appearances, as was the case with Gambit in Deadpool and Wolverine. Now, specific characters have not yet been named. However, Oscar-nominated actress Cynthia Erivo recently expressed that she would like to play Storm, which has led to speculation. Reynolds had publicly acknowledged Erivo together with Ariana Grande at an event, possibly a subtle hint at future casting plans. Ultimately, however, the casting choices still rest with Marvel. The previous Deadpool films have already featured several X-Men, including Colossus, Sabretooth, and Pyro. Reynolds also managed to convince Hugh Jackman to make a comeback as Wolverine. The potential movie would be independent of the also planned MCU X-Men project, which is currently being written by the Hunger Games author Michael Leslie. Ryan Reynolds is already working on initial script ideas, which he'll then pitch to the studio. This approach is nothing new. Deadpool and Wolverine went through several concept phases as well, including a low-budget road trip idea. Despite his proximity to the big superhero teams, Deadpool remains a character who is on the fringes, and deliberately so. To quote Reynolds, "His ultimate dream is to be accepted and appreciated, but he can't be accepted. His coping mechanism of deflecting shame through humor works only when used to pave over his many inadequacies. If and when he does become an Avenger or X-Men, we're at the end of his journey." Rumors are circulating about a dream that may soon come true in Hollywood. A film adaptation of the critically acclaimed fantasy video game Elden Ring is apparently being planned. And none other than Civil War director Alex Garland could be set to direct it. Initial indications of a possible project came from the website Nexus Point News. It was also suggested that A24 could be active behind the scenes as the production studio. Now, the original article has since been taken down from the site, which at first pointed towards a false report, but now the rumor has been fueled. Hollywood insider Jeff Snyder confirmed in his newsletter that negotiations are indeed ongoing. Snyder reports that the deal has not been finalized yet. However, Garland is in talks to direct and also write the screenplay. He would be the right person for the job. The director already presented atmospheric alien worlds and creatures in Annihilation with Natalie Portman. And with Civil War, he realized a movie for A24 for the first time with a higher budget. Undoubtedly also an absolute must for Elden Ring. Should everything go as planned, filming could begin as early as 2026, with a possible theatrical release of Elden Ring in late 2027. Another interesting aspect, George R.R. Martin, author of Game of Thrones, is directly connected to the project. He contributed to the world-building of Elden Ring and has already hinted in 2024 that a film adaptation was a possibility. Given the massive success of the game, interest in a movie adaptation comes as no surprise. The dark, epic world of Elden Ring offers ample material for a visually stunning fantasy story. The epic boss battles in particular seem almost perfect for the big screen. The anticipation for Avatar: Fire and Ash continues to grow. After the artworks, fans are gradually being presented with the first real images. The entertainment magazine Empire has now given us a first look at Zoe Saldana's character Neytiri. And the portal also discussed with the actress what lies ahead for Neytiri in Fire and Ash. The main topic was the emotional state of her character. The events at the end of Avatar 2: The Way of Water have clearly left their mark. Neytiri's grief and pain will therefore play an important role in Fire and Ash. That pain is seamlessly followed up on, and because it doesn't really have anywhere to go and doesn't go away, rage can also come from it. The Sullys are going to be tested as a family. The new image illustrates Neytiri's state of mind. The character will now question everything, from her relationship with Jake to her connection with her people. According to Saldana, we can look forward to the confrontation between Neytiri and Varang, the leader of the Ash clan. Varang is played by Game of Thrones actress Una Chaplin. We'll be able to see all of this on the big screen at the end of the year. Then we can finally immerse ourselves in the breathtaking world of Pandora again. In addition to Saldana, Sam Worthington will of course be back as Jake. Also returning are alien star Sigourney Weaver, Stephen Lang, and Kate Winslet. The theatrical release of Avatar: Fire and Ash is scheduled for December 19th, 2025, and you can find all further information about the blockbuster in our big movie preview. After the first images, many Avatar fans are of course now waiting for a first trailer for Fire and Ash. At the moment, however, we can only make assumptions. A look into the past could provide a clue. The first trailer for Avatar: The Way of Water was released in May, with a theatrical release in December. As this year's release is also in December, we can hope that a similar approach will be taken. And it's also reassuring that the first footage has already been shown, albeit only to the audience at CinemaCon 2025. Many of the teasers and trailers shown there have already been released to a wider audience. So we therefore hope that we'll be able to present the trailer for Avatar 3 to you as soon as possible. A new movie from the world of Miami Vice is currently in development. According to the industry portal The Hollywood Reporter, Top Gun Maverick director Joseph Kosinski will be responsible for the project. The cult show Miami Vice from the 80s revolves around two undercover cops, played by Don Johnson and Philip Michael Thomas. In a total of 5 seasons, the two fight against organized crime in Miami. The crime series significantly shaped television and pop culture in the 80s. Back in 2006, the series was already adapted into a movie by the brilliant director Michael Mann. The cop duo was played by Colin Farrell and Jamie Foxx. However, at the time, the film flopped at the box office. But even the gloomy reinterpretation has achieved cult status among fans today and enjoys a loyal fan base. So now Joseph Kosinski is devoting himself to another film adaptation. With Top Gun Maverick, the director has already proven that he can successfully create a modern take on an 80s cult phenomenon. Kosinski is also known for his directing skills on the Tom Cruise film Oblivion, as well as Tron Legacy. The screenplay will be written by Nightcrawler director Dan Gilroy, who last contributed as a writer to the acclaimed Star Wars series Andor. However, it's not known yet who will be starring in the new Miami Vice movie, and it's also difficult to estimate a release date due to the production's early stage of development. But we'll keep you up to date as things progress. Fans of Tom Hanks and gripping World War movies have cause for rejoice. The acclaimed Apple original Greyhound is getting a sequel, and the team from the first part is back as well. According to Deadline magazine, Tom Hanks is once again taking on the lead role of Captain Krause, and he'll also write the screenplay. Aaron Schneider will direct Greyhound 2, like he did in Part 1. The plot of the sequel will presumably be set on the beaches of Normandy. It'll take Krause and his crew on a dramatic journey to the Pacific. The objective is to make a decisive contribution to the outcome of the Second World War. Currently, talks with the actors from the first movie are in full swing. Stephen Graham could be back, for example. He recently caused a stir with his Netflix hit Adolescence. The first Greyhound movie was released in 2020 and was nominated for an Oscar. Based on the 1955 novel The Good Shepherd by C.S. Forester, it stars Tom Hanks as an inexperienced U.S. Navy commander who leads an Allied convoy under attack from German submarines after the U.S. enters the war. The film was well received by critics and audiences alike and was inspired by the real Battle of the Atlantic. Initial information suggests that filming for Part 2 will begin in January 2026, and a release date has yet to be set. The hype surrounding video game adaptations continues unabated. According to Variety, a live-action film adaptation of the hugely successful game Split Fiction is now in the pipeline. In the leading role, Sydney Sweeney. Split Fiction was developed by Hazelight Studios and published by Electronic Arts. It combines elements of fantasy and science fiction. The story follows the writer duo Mio and Zoe, who are trapped in their own fictional worlds. And the video game focuses on co-op gameplay, split-screen battles, platforming, and individual character abilities. The game was launched on March 6 and was enthusiastically received by players and critics alike. According to Hazelight, it sold over 2 million copies within the first week of its release, a figure that continues to grow rapidly. It's still unclear which of the two main characters Sydney Sweeney will play. According to Variety, the decision will be made at a later date. The film will be directed by John M. Chu, known for Wicked and Crazy Rich Asians, and the screenplay is penned by Rhett Reese and Paul Wernick, who are known for their work on Deadpool and Wolverine. As it's still in the early stages of development, a release date for the Split Fiction movie is not available yet. The Avengers are reuniting. Filming of the long-awaited Marvel sequel Avengers Doomsday has officially begun. Directors Anthony and Joe Russo revealed this on social media, including a first set photo. It shows the chair of Robert Downey Jr., who is known to be returning for Avengers 5. However, it was announced at San Diego Comic-Con 2024 he will not be playing Iron Man, but the villain Victor Von Doom. The film is being shot at Pinewood Studios in London, and this is set to continue into the summer. However, things will resume shortly afterwards, with Avengers 6 Secret Wars scheduled to be shot right after the 5th movie in the series. We also know part of the cast of Doomsday already, and it's certainly impressive. Marvel announced almost 30 cast members in a major livestream event a few weeks ago. Among them are numerous X-Men actors such as Ian McKellen as Magneto and Patrick Stewart as Professor X. Characters from the currently running Thunderbolts and the upcoming Fantastic Four are also part of the team. Of course, Chris Hemsworth as Thor, Tom Hiddleston as Loki, and Paul Rudd as Ant-Man will be present as well. And according to reports, it won't stop there. Among those not confirmed yet are Tom Holland as Spider-Man, Benedict Cumberbatch as Doctor Strange, and Elizabeth Olsen as Wanda. Some other well-known actors are likely to join the cast too. For example, there have been long rumors about an appearance by Hulk, She-Hulk, and Hulk's son Scar. Presumed concept images have already been leaked. Chris Claremont, author of the X-Men comics, recently announced that the character of Scarlet Witch, played by Elizabeth Olsen, will apparently be returning, but in a good version. He also mentioned that although Vision belonged to her, his return was still unknown. The theatrical release of Avengers Doomsday is already known. It's scheduled for May 1st, 2026. This means that the start of filming on April 28, 2025 is almost exactly 1 year before the official theatrical release, which is actually quite late for such a big movie with an elaborate post-production. We're excited to find out what awaits us after the long Avengers break. Horror fans have long been aware animals in movies don't have to be friends. Animal horror movies have been an integral part of the genre's repertoire for decades, ranging from the trashy Sharknado to the thrilling classic Jaws. The theme still enjoys great popularity today. For instance, 2023 saw the release of the absurd horror comedy Cocaine Bear. Now, another project is in the pipeline: Rats. The movie revolves around a rat infestation in New York City. It's a race against the clock to combat the threat of killer rats. Now, it sounds generic, but according to the business magazine Deadline, it's not some cheap production. Behind the movie is a major film studio, namely the action and horror company Lionsgate, home to successful film series such as John Wick. Director of the project is Todd Strauss-Schulson, who directed the romantic comedy Isn't It Romantic for Netflix, for example. Pitch Perfect producer Paul Brooks is also involved in the movie, and Jason Fuchs, co-showrunner of the upcoming Stephen King series It, Welcome to Derry, is equally involved. We're looking forward to more details. The Roadhouse remake with Jake Gyllenhaal was a true surprise hit. Now a sequel is in the pipeline. And as The Hollywood Reporter is now officially confirmed, Guy Ritchie is set to direct Roadhouse 2. Jake Gyllenhaal will be back as former UFC fighter Dalton, now a bouncer at a Florida Keys bar. Gyllenhaal will also be working behind the scenes as a producer. A reunion with Lucas Gage as Billy, the bouncer in training, is also possible. The actor himself has already expressed interest in making a return. The screenplay is by Will Beall, who has already proven his flair for fast-paced action films with action blockbusters such as Aquaman and Bad Boys Ride or Die. But specific details about the plot and setting are still being kept under wraps. The first part, released in 2024, is a remake of the 1989 film of the same name starring Patrick Swayze. The remake was directed by Doug Liman and became a huge success on Prime Video with almost 80 million viewers worldwide in just 8 weeks. Liman himself is unlikely to be involved in the sequel. The reason for this is a public dispute with Amazon over the exclusive streaming release. Liman had originally hoped for a theatrical release. An exact date for the premiere of Roadhouse 2 has yet to be set. This Beekeeper is worth a fortune. Amazon has secured the distribution rights to the Beekeeper 2 and spent a considerable amount of money on it. According to Deadline magazine, the streaming giant has paid more than $50 million to production studio Miramax for the Jason Statham sequel. Mind you, this is only for the rights. The film budget is on top of that. This is particularly daring because the total budget for Part 1 already amounted to $40 million. Amazon has therefore already spent more on Part 2 than its predecessor cost, and that's before filming has even begun. Anyone who's now worried that the Beekeeper 2 will only be available for streaming, don't worry. Amazon MGM has already announced that the action is also coming to the big screen, at least in a few key territories. Action star Jason Statham is of course taking on the leading role once again. This time, the director is Timo Tchayanto. With The Night Comes for Us, he demonstrated that he's capable of badass action, so he'll soon also be responsible for Nobody 2 with Bob Odenkirk. Part 1 told the story of a retired special agent seeking revenge after his kind-hearted landlady falls victim to a multi-million-dollar scam. The movie was an international success, making $163 million at the box office worldwide. According to initial information, filming for the Beekeeper 2 is set to begin in the fall of 2025. So we can probably look forward to a release date in late 2026 or early 2027. The upcoming Netflix adaptation of the Chronicles of Narnia is making progress. As the industry portal The Hollywood Reporter informs, an actress has now been found for the role of the White Witch. The actress in question is sex education star Emma Mackey. The White Witch is actually called Jadis and is the antagonist of the Chronicles of Narnia series. The powerful sorceress has, of course, also played an important role in Disney's previous film adaptations. There, she was played by the Oscar-winning actress Tilda Swinton. Now, Emma Mackey is set to fill her shoes. The actress is known for her roles in Barbie and the new adaptation of Death on the Nile, for example. She also appeared in all episodes of the popular Netflix series Sex Education. For the Narnia reboot, she'll once again be working with Barbie director Greta Gerwig. Gerwig will direct the new movie and also write the screenplay. It'll probably be based on the book The Magician's Nephew. Chronologically, the novel is set at the beginning of the fantasy series by author C.S. Lewis. It focuses on the children Diggory and Polly. They discover a door to the other worlds with the help of the magic of Diggory's eccentric uncle and witness the creation of Narnia. Over the past weeks and months, there have already been initial casting rumors. Hollywood legend Meryl Streep is currently being considered for the role of the lion Aslan. Aslan is a pivotal character in the Chronicles of Narnia series. Another rumor concerns Daniel Craig. The James Bond actor could take on the role of Diggory's uncle Andrew. The new Narnia adaptation will be released next year. The movie will have a limited IMAX theatrical release for 2 weeks from November 26, 2026. After that, there will be a Netflix premiere at Christmas. And it is planned that there will be more than just one movie, but it remains to be seen how much of the fantasy saga will eventually be filmed. So far, there are 3 movies in the series: The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe, Prince Caspian, and The Voyage of the Dawn Treader. After Anna Kendrick played a central role in the first part of The Accountant, she was surprisingly left out of the sequel. However, this is now set to change, as Kendrick is expected to return for The Accountant 3 in a role as Dana Cummings. Although The Accountant 3 has not been officially confirmed yet, plans are clearly in full swing already. In an interview with IndieWire, director Gavin O'Connor indicated that he's even planning a change in style. Less thriller, more road movie. Ben Affleck's Christian Wolff, his brother Brax, played by John Barenthal, and possibly also Dana, are to embark on a turbulent trip together in a pickup truck. A plot? Not necessary, joked the director. According to O'Connor, he's already spoken to Anna Kendrick about a return, and she's interested. Her comeback would not only enhance the dynamics of the main characters, but also allow for a romantic development for Ben Affleck's character. It remains open whether The Accountant 3 with Anna Kendrick will actually happen, but you can watch The Accountant 2 in movie theaters right now.